Hi Bookends! Welcome to this week's 10-minute book review. I'm 10. I'm sorry that I fell off last week. There was no book review because I had horrible allergies and I ended up getting pink eye, allergy related pink eye. It's not contagious, just a nice way of saying my eye turned pink and puffy because of my allergies, so I had to take a lot of allergy medicine. I'm still stuffy, as you can hear, but I am getting there. So, oh yes, if that ever happens again, we do have a blog, 10-minute book reviews, TINMINUTEBOOKREVIEWS 10 like TIN minutebookreviews.com. We'll always keep you updated on whatever book reviews we're doing there as well. So to get into this week's book review, which is actually last week's book review, the book that we're going over is Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. So if you, oh, did you get a good picture? There it is. Okay. So if you follow our blog or Instagram, which we'll leave links to, you already know how we feel about this book. If you don't, then let you know right now. So normally we give a star point and a rating before each book review. So star point, how many stars out of 10, and for a rating, if this was a movie or a TV show, what would we rate it? So this book gets 10 out of 10 stars. This is a really great book. I'm going to tell you why. For a rating, I would say PG. There's some brief language, but it's not a lot, and it's not really violent. So, getting into the main players, it's Jack Ellison. He's a typical teenager. He's in love with his best, well, not in love. He has a crush on his best friend, Jillian, who's coincidentally dating his other best friend. So, he's never going to shoot his shot, basically. He's never going to shoot his shot at Jillian because he knows she's taken. So the two of them, Jack and Jillian, they go to a college because they're seniors in high school. So they're going to check out different colleges, spending the weekend at different colleges, and they end up going to a college party. Not like a frat party, but just like a college party. So Jillian's off socializing and stuff, and Jack's sitting on the stairs looking at her like a lost puppy, you know, just brooding over her. And before he can continue to brood, now when I say brood, he's not like making sad faces, he's just kind of thinking in his head and being lonely. So before he can continue to brood, there's a voice behind him that says, "Hey man, you're damming up the stairs." And when he turns around, it's Kate. This is Kate. Can you see her? Let me bring her. Sorry about the lighting. That's Kate. So when he meets Kate, he starts falling in love with Kate, not because he's like this lost puppy who falls in love with everyone, but because her personality. She's funny, she doesn't take the world too heavily, she understands his jokes. So as time goes on, it's not an immediate thing, but as time goes on, they fall in love, and he invites her to his prom. Unfortunately, she doesn't go. So she says she's going to go, and she's supposed to meet him at her parents' house because she lives on campus. So she's supposed to drive down to her parents' house, and he's supposed to meet her at her parents' house and take her to prom. No call, no show. And so of course he's devastated because he really thought this girl liked him, and he really liked her. Weeks later, at his parents' anniversary party, he gets a call from her, you know, saying like, "Listen, I know I'm so stupid, but I need you right now. Can you come to me?" And he doesn't give her any flack. He doesn't, you know, ask her, you know, he doesn't treat her like how he's feeling. Instead, he says, "Where are you?" And she tells him in the hospital, and he heads straight over. There, he finds out that she's like horribly ill. He doesn't find out how sickly she is, but he finds out that she's very ill. Pardon me.
Am I feeling better?
That is my son, who also has allergies as well.
Am I feeling better? You
You are not feeling better. Please get back in bed. she falls asleep in the hospital, and her mother tells him to just go home and come back tomorrow, and he does that. He goes home, but around 3 o'clock in the morning he gets a phone call from Kate's mother saying that Kate unfortunately passed away in the hospital. He's devastated. He can't believe that this just happened. He just fell in love. He fell in love with this girl. He just reconnected with her, and now she's dead. So yeah, he's devastated, and so he's rushing to get to the hospital. He's like, I'll be right there, and he falls. He misses a step in his home going downstairs, falls and breaks his neck and dies. Now, before he can actually die, like before, like he just goes all the way out, he goes back in time, and he goes back to the exact moment when he met Kate on those stairs. And the premise of this story is that he keeps going back in time to the exact moment that he met Kate until he can find a way to keep her alive. As you read on, you find out that she has sickle cell, and that's what caused her illness. And the reason why she was so distant at times is because she didn't want to get too close to him because she knew that she was sick. 3 things always remain the same, though, no matter how many times he goes back in time. Jack loves Kate. Kate loves Jack. They both love cereal. They always bond over cereal, which I thought was adorable. I love the pop culture references that are in this book. Just to name one, because they're not forced. You know, like if you read some books, it's like they just watched E! News before they wrote it, and like, hey, did you hear about the Kardashians? It's like, ugh. But the pop culture references in this book are so on point, especially if you're in the African American community or you are in some way connected to the African American community. So one of the jokes I thought was kind of funny. So when he told Kate what his name was, his name is Jack Ellison King. And she's like, I didn't ask for your full name. Like, why would you tell someone your name is King? And so he said, maybe because I'm looking for my queen. So if you don't get that, I know most of you will get it, but if you don't get it, it's from a movie called Coming to America. When Eddie Murphy was first getting married, the guy who was heralding the wedding along, he was like, she's your queen. I cannot sing. But yeah, it's from that part of the movie, like towards the beginning of the movie. And yeah, that was funny. And then there were some really cute quotes in here. I'm just going to read one quote that came at the beginning of the book, and it hooked me. Not really the beginning of the book, but it's the chapter, the beginning. The problem is we spend most of our puny lives chasing someone else's someone. And if we're lucky, we end up with only 1/3 of the time we could have spent with the person truly meant for us. And I think that's so true, because we do spend a lot of time, I shouldn't say everyone, but quite a few of us spend a lot of time looking for the perfect person. Not because they're perfect for us, but they're perfect for those around us, if you get my drift. Like, how much does this man make? What does his home look like? What does his car look like? Because, you know, I can't bring this guy home to my mom if he's not, you know, if he's not flossable. I can't bring him home. Or looking for what you're supposed to want as opposed to what you do want. For example, some women aren't into masculine men, right? They don't want the alpha male. But if they're in a society that says that the alpha male is what they should get, they may pine after or go after someone who, and marry someone who they don't really want, and spend a good chunk of their life with that person, not because they have to, but because they feel as though society at large has put them in a position where that is the only viable place they can be. So this book was really good, and it has a happy ending. There, like, every time he got so close to saving Kate and she died, my heart hurt for him. This book was so beautiful. Now, oddly enough, I just read another book with a not similar plot, but if you've seen the other video that I have here and now and then, I'll put a link to it in the description. I'll also put a tag of it. But yes, both of these books have something in common. The protagonists for both of them are a black male Both protagonists are in love with a person. Both protagonists have to travel into the past in order to save the person that they loved. Now, in Here and Now and Then, I forgot his name. Ken had to travel back into the past to save his daughter. And opposite of Always, Jack had to go back in time to save the love of his life, Kate. I hated Here and Now and Then. I loved Opposite of Always. This is why. Pardon me. This is why. Here and Now and Then was sold as a science fiction first book. If you read the description for Here and Now and Then, it says Ken Stewart is an everyday family man working in IT, trying to keep the spark in his marriage, struggling to connect with his teenage daughter Miranda. But his current life is a far cry from his previous career as a time-traveling secret agent in 2142. So it sells itself as a science fiction first book. When really this book was a contemporary book. There was no action, barely technology. Technology is mentioned in the way of use, not in the way of propelling the story. So to give you an example, I can say I have an app on my cell phone that does something special. That's it. That's not science fiction. That's my cell phone. Like if I say I can use my cell phone to video chat my mom, that's not science fiction. That's just me saying I have a device that does a thing, and that's it. So this book was basically this book was a contemporary book with science fiction elements, but it was not a science fiction book. It was sold as science fiction. It was not science fiction. Opposite of Always, however, is a contemporary book. It sells itself as, it says what it is. If you look at the back of it, right? First of all, I love this back cover. I'm going to bring it closer because it's like, it shows the story kind of them falling in love. Because each and every time they meet on the stairs and they fall in love. So if you look here, so it's the story of their love. But this book was sold as contemporary first. If you read the first paragraph in the description, he almost made valedictorian. He almost made varsity. He almost got the girl. Until when Jack and Kate meet at a party, bonding until sunrise over their mutual love of Fruit Loops and their favorite flicks. See, they love cereal. And Jack knows he's falling hard. Soon, she's meeting his best friends Jillian and Franny, and Kate wins them over as easily as she did Jack. Jack's curse of almost is finally over. This book sells itself as a young man who falls in love with a young woman. And of course, you know, it's not a chunky book, but you know something else has to happen. So I wasn't disillusioned when I bought this book. I was fully aware of what I was getting. Right? Even on the back it says, this is a book about two teens who fall in love over cereal, about a boy stuck in a time loop, and the moments that make life worth living. And so it puts what the book is about first. Two teens that fall in love. Then it talks about the science fiction element, because he's stuck in a time loop. And then it talks about what the purpose of the book is, figuring out the moments that actually matter. This book was honest. If I had known, I already have a rant video on this, but if I had known that this book, Here and Now and Then, was about some dude who, I don't know, it said he was struggling to get to know his, keep the spark in his marriage, but none of that showed. If I had known this book was a contemporary book about a guy who was trying to go back into the past to save his daughter, I would not have bought it. I thought that it was going to be a science fiction kind of action-y book, and so that's why I got it. That's what it was sold as. I'm upset that I still have this in my house. This book, on the other hand, it told the truth about what it was, and I love that. Now, let me tell you why I love this book so much. This book is never getting donated. This book will stay with me forever. In the African American community, there seems to be, not exactly in our community, because I don't want to blame it on us. It's not just us. Even in the advertising world for the African American community, which is what's advertised towards us, there seems to have been a confusion between urban fiction and African American contemporary. They're not all the same. And so books like On the Come Up and The Hate You Give, books like those are the ones that get the advertising, they get the play, they get the ratings. Why? Because they showcase African Americans living in hood areas. They showcase African Americans living in violent areas, or being affected by violent elements, or being surrounded by drugs and alcoholism and poverty. It shows an image of African Americans that people have become comfortable with seeing. Right? We're still, I won't say we, because I grew up in the hood. I still live in the hood. But that image of drugs and alcohol and violence, that's not the image that, one, I portray, and two, that I'm constantly around. Because you can't always choose your environment, but you can choose what you invite into your personal environment, and that's not in my personal environment. But books like On the Come Up and The Hate You Give are the books that are advertised because it's considered the real African American experience. When really, I mean, of course there are some people who are in love with the hood life and who engage with it happily and often. But a good amount of us just live here because we don't have the money to get out to someplace better. Real talk. It's not that, you know, we like living in the hood necessarily, all of us. It's just we don't have the finances to be able to move out. Because, yeah. Anyway. But that's not our only reality, right? And I don't want to read that because that's not our only reality. We do date. We do fall in love. We do want to be writers. We do silly things. Like, you know, not everybody wants to converse over Hennessy. Not everybody wants to meet up at the club. Some of us want to sit down and read. Some of us want to go to the museum. You know. Basically what I'm saying is that I love this book because it gave us a Noah and an Allie. If you don't catch the reference to that, when it comes to the African American community, we're bombarded with Jacks and Roses. So from Titanic, we have Jack and Rose, two people who meet in a situation, fall in love quickly, have sex, end tragically. So in the African American community, we have so many Jacks and Roses. And I use Jack and Rose because on a wide scale, as a wide scale example, because most people have seen the movie Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio. We don't have a lot of Noahs and Allies. Noah and Allie are the main characters from the book The Notebook, or the movie The Notebook. I'm not, you know, getting mad if you didn't read the book and you only saw the movie, or vice versa. Both are good. Noah and Allie met each other. They got to know each other. They fell in love. They had arguments. Their love lasted way into their old age. That was beautiful. But those aren't the stories that are showcased when it comes to African Americans. Our stories are basically, you know, Keisha had sex with Hakeem. Now Keisha in love. And Hakeem kind of in love, but he gotta find out how to leave these streets alone. And also Sharifa, she messing with Hakeem too. So Hakeem gotta figure out which one he like better, Keisha or Sharifa. But Sharifa got something up her sleeve. Keisha don't know what's gonna hit her. That's the kind of stuff that is showcased to black people. Either that, or it's a story about, oh, teen pregnancy, or oh, parents on drugs, or oh, they want to be a rapper, or oh, they want to be some kind of entertainer in sports or such. that gets old and is irritating. And sometimes I just want to read a black romance. Sometimes I just want to read a black contemporary book with a quirky character who gets the girl or gets the boy or what have you. This book gives you that. It gave me that, and if you read it, it'll give you that too. I got to fall in love with people that I cared about, and I got to watch two people who I cared about fall in love with each other over and over and over again. And so I highly recommend this book to any and everyone. If it was a movie, for some reason I see Jack as being Jaden Smith for some reason. I don't know why, but I see Jack as Jaden Smith. And for Kate, for some reason I see Yara from Grownish. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. And have a wonderful week. And don't forget to check back in for all of our bookish videos. Bye, Bookends!